welcome into another episode of Outside Shots. I'm Saul Bookman, joined by the one, the only Eddie Johnson. Oh, look at you, Eddie. You got some glasses on with some shades. What you about to do, huh?
Trying to hide. I don't want any Suns fans to run into me today.
Oh, your mic is a little off now. Uh-oh.
Is it off?
Another room?
Oh my land! What the heck?
This is the typical Eddie Johnson experience, folks.
Seriously.
Remote.
What's
Can't
up
get his
with
stuff
this
right.
Is
Not
it
to call
working
me
now?
out about my Wildcats not being
Is
in
it
the
working
tournament anymore.
Is it working?
And this man can't get his mic to be at a top.
It's not working.
I can't even take you seriously anymore.
It's not working now.
I mean, I can hear you, but it's not your mic working. It's like your computer or something like that. That's the mic that we can hear you from.
Man, come on. Well, I hate computers. What about now?
Yeah, I mean, they're not great. No, still not there. Take your time.
I'll just check out and then come back.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, take your time.
Yeah.
While you leave, we're going to talk some smack and enjoy. All right. Well, while Eddie tries to figure out life, thank you all for joining us on another episode of Outside Shots. I really wish we didn't have to talk about bad basketball. I really wish we didn't. Honestly, at this point, I don't know how much anybody really wants to talk about the Suns, but here we are. I only put these glasses on because I wanted to see the BS Eddie was about to throw my way. Listen, last night was just awful. I would say that was probably the bottom of the proverbial year for the Phoenix Suns. And there's just a lot of stuff that we were about to get into. EJ's got a lot of thoughts on just how the team's performing overall and the things that need to get improved. And
am I good?
There you go. That's a little bit better. There we go. So
yeah, I don't want to. I got to go work out this morning. I might go bike ride. I got to go pick up my Tesla today. It got beat up, and I'm gonna sell that thing real quickly. I'm not gonna go any further on it. I mean, really, real quickly. It was in the shop. I had an accident a month ago, so it's been in the shop, so I haven't driven it, and I don't plan on driving it much anymore. It's my personal reason. But anyway,
I got you.
Anyway,
well, hey, listen,
I'm hiding from Suns fans right now.
One might say that it feels like the Suns are the version of your car where they've just been beat up so much that they had to go to the shop. And I don't know if there's any fixing that. I just don't. Last night, obviously, just a thorough ass whooping by the hands of the Houston Rockets last night. It wasn't close. It was never close. It never felt close. Like the whole thing was off the skids from the jump. And it's really unfortunate because a week ago today, Eddie, these guys were off of a 4-game winning streak. Vibes were kind of high. Optimism was a little bit higher. But I think the reality is now setting in because there's only 6 games left. And they're 2 games behind the Mavericks now. And that just feels like almost an impossible mountain to climb.
It was tough last night. Like
sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I want to text you in the middle of the game, and be like,
you can,
bro. How are you getting through this right now?
You can. It turns into story time. It turns into me ripping on K-Ray. It turns, it's like broadcasting, 303, not 101 people, but 303. Like. That's the hard part about broadcasting, right? People always want to, critique you and all of that, but they just don't understand. You got a 2.5-hour show. Like even when we do our podcast, like you have to balance everything and you have to adjust and you never know what you're going to have to do or where you're going to have to go to because of what's going on with the main product. So I'm not going to sit there and I work for the Phoenix Suns. I'm not going to sit there and just bash the team. So what I'll do, I'll try to find little nuances of good things just to talk about. And look, the quality fan, the fan that understands the game, they know that I'm doing that. So I found myself having to do that after the first quarter. So basically 3 quarters, I'm basically trying to distract, detour. Like I-10 is detouring everybody right now. That's another story, man. Come on. Stop closing the highway on the weekend. You got 2 main events. Anyway, so that's what you have to do. And it was tough, man. It was really tough last night. And then when KD went down, it's like, oh, it's like it just can't get any worse. So yeah, it was not fun. We had a young team in the Houston Rockets out there having fun at our expense.
Oh yeah,
They were literally like they were at the circus. They were having fun. Been in that situation on both sides, and I understand it. I talked about it during the game, and it was disturbing to watch a team. Now the Rockets got the 4th best record in the NBA, people. So it's not like they're not a very good team, but they beat on us pretty good. And that's something those Sun players need to keep and pack it. So when, next year, whatever rolls around, they remember that. Because the Rockets remember the Suns a couple of years in a row just embarrassed them. And they used to have a lot of combustion. I don't know if you remember, Saul, Jalen Green's first year and going back at Booker, and they're talking junk and all of that. They remember. And so I hope this Suns team players remember the Rockets and how they got there. At the time last night, the hot player, Dylan Brooks, got kicked out. He was the one that was really killing the Suns early on. Jalen Green wasn't shooting the ball well. Şengün was quiet. But Brooks was the one. He gets kicked out. You would think that the Suns would use that to their advantage. It actually turned against them. And the Rockets went on a 23-7 run after he got kicked out. And that should never happen. The crowd got into it. The crowd was ticked. Normally it should turn you around. It actually turned them around. And it was just, so that's why I have my glasses on. I'm not going to keep them on the whole show because I don't want to mesmerize you. And these are prescription glasses. So I want people to know that. I can see very clearly.
Okay. Listen, the Suns right now have 7% odds to get to the playoffs. And with Kevin Durant out, they are 2-11 on the season. So Gerald Bourguet last night basically said that game was when you look at the time of death on your season, that was it. Like that. And I agree. I don't think that the Suns are making the playoffs. I don't think they're making the play-in. They need a miracle run, and they need to go at least, I would say, a minimum of 3-3 just to have hope. And I just don't see that that's going to happen with 5 of the next 6 teams, already in the playoffs. So it's just really unfortunate because obviously this is not something, listen, preseason odds had the Suns as one of the top 5 or 6 teams to have a shot at the title, and to see them completely fall out to the point where they don't even make the playoffs is probably one of the greater collapses I can remember, especially as a Suns fan. I'm befuddled. I don't really understand how it got so bad so fast.
I don't either.
It's confounding. I just do not understand it at all. And I think a lot of people, that's the frustration, is a lot of people are like, I don't understand how we're this bad. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. What I will tell you though, Saul, and you play sports, it's really a fine line between being good and being bad. It's a fine line. It could be an injury that happens, right? It could be the top players turn on each other, maybe start arguing, in-house stuff that goes on. Guys getting individual and selfish that, forces the team to go a different way. We've seen it. We can just pick anything, any entity. Like, you can be up here and then all of a sudden you can be down here. And you're wondering, like, how did that happen so quickly? And that's where I always talk about the NBA. NBA comes down to what? Average the last 3 to 4 minutes of a game. Most NBA games are going to come down to the last 3 or 4 minutes. And the team that executes the best will win. That's just the league in itself. That's why it's so competitive and the talent is so close. And so if you're not able to adjust to that and take care of that, then you're going to fail. Early in the season, what did the Suns do? They won, 7 out of their first 8 games? And every game was close, right? If you go back, they won the first game by 3. Second game, they lost, okay? Then the third game, they won, 114-102, but it was a close game. Then 109-105, 125-119, 103-107, 118-116, 115-112, 114-113. Every game was close. And KD was closing it out. KD was getting his love and how he was closing out. And that's how they got to an 8-1 record to start the season. And then all of a sudden, it started to go south because now they stopped doing what? Those little things that allowed them to win. And what is the main thing they weren't doing early in the year, Saul, that they started doing when they started losing?
Turn the ball over.
Turn the ball over. Turn the ball over. And that's it. That's it, man. I mean, if you want to look at this, if the Suns players want to look at this season in one synopsis, turning the ball over. They turn it over religiously, and it turns into points. And they're not forcing turnovers. So that is the issue, and that's a problem. It is a major problem that needs to be corrected. And I have no clue right now how that can happen. But you're right. They got Milwaukee, Boston, and New York. I said it on the air last night. I said, look, I thought last night was the biggest game because that's the getaway game. That's the game you should win at home, and you're getting away on a road trip. You go into Milwaukee, who's been embarrassed. They were embarrassed last night. Atlanta dropped 140 plus on them last night. So, okay, you got Milwaukee. That's a beatable team. I don't think it might be after if KD can't play, and he did not go on the trip this morning. So, staying back here to get an MRI. You get Boston. Then you got the Knicks. So, a game and a half right now behind Sacramento for the 10th spot. I've seen crazier things happen, but that should be the mindset right now. Regardless, until you're eliminated from playoffs, you cannot sit back and think you're not going to get in. Hope is hope, and that's where they sit right now.
That's where they sit. But without Kevin Durant, I'll just say it right now, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. Like there's just no way. Not based off of this team, not how they're built, not how they approach things, not how they've executed. It's cool that they got a 4-game winning streak just a week ago, but it's clear that was more of a mirage than it was the real deal. Like they didn't fix anything, they didn't get back on track, and they didn't learn their lessons. And this has been the theme all season long. It was like you think that they started to figure some things out, and then they halt their own momentum. Like that's just what they do. That's what Coach Bud does during games. Like just inconsistency all the way across the board. In terms of substitution patterns and his approach and his like the plays that he's calling sometimes, like it's all over the place. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand how players could even feel comfortable. When you can't trust anything, it feels like you can't trust your fellow players. You can't trust the coaching. Like everything is all up in the air. Here's my question to you, EJ. If you were the GM of the Suns right now, and you got 6 games left to evaluate and all that stuff, what would your message be to the team, and what would your approach be in the last 6 games, knowing that maybe a couple of them at the very least will be without Kevin Durant? Also, why would you even bring Kevin Durant back anymore? Yeah. I wouldn't. There's no point.
Yeah, my thing I would tell them, and I would always tell players this, like, I'm watching you, man. I'm watching you, and I'm judging you in the most difficult moments, because I want to know if I can walk down an alley with you, and you're gonna fight with me. Like I want to know. Like I want to know when you're at the bottom, and I want to see how you fight out of it when you're at the bottom. I already know how you're gonna be if you're at the top. I already know. That's easy. But when you're compromised, when you're nicked up, when you get a little boo-boo during the game, I'm watching you. I want to know if you're going to just get up and just walk into the locker room, or you're going to get up and you're going to try to run it out. And when you're out of the game, instead of sulking because maybe the coach took you out too soon, I'm watching you when you're over there on the bench. I want to see your attitude. I want to see if you're still engaged. I want to see if you're still preparing yourself to come back into the game and not come back into the game mad. Like, I want to see you pay attention to the coach. Like, that's what I would be looking at nonstop, because that's how I judge myself and I judge my teammates. And it's hard to do, but that's the dudes you want to run with. The dude that supports you and they're there. And then every night, 48 minutes, like no matter what is going on in your life up until that point, okay? You can have an argument with a significant other, anything, right? Kids got a bad grade. Doesn't matter. When you show up in the locker room, you're the same person. Like, you always make a joke with me. Like, before we do our podcast, you would never know the kind of mood I'm in, because I'm always ramped up, giving you a hard time. I've been conditioned on that. Like, it's like, it's unfair if I'm in a bad mood and I show up and I don't give you my all. Like, I'm not engaged, because that's not fair. So I have to push myself, ramp myself up. And I do that as I'm driving to the podcast, or whenever I get on, and I do it on my radio show. You listen to our show, if you think that I don't get ticked off when that dude be talking crazy, my co-host, okay, but I have to stay balanced. And so, to me, that's professionalism, man. And I was taught that. It wasn't like it was ingrained in me. I was taught that from the moment that I actually was on my first team. Like, the coaches the coaches I had in my life made me accountable for that. And that's why I truly believe that I could have coached in the league. I made a choice, man. And I look back on it, I will say to myself, man, Eddie, you should have probably taken that opportunity with the Pacers when your career was over, because they wanted to hire me as an assistant coach. And I probably should have taken it. And I know I would be a head coach in this league right now if I had. I get it. I said, no, Eddie, you want to take the short route. Like, you want to be like Doc Rivers or Steve Kerr, or, the guys that didn't have to do it, Derek Fisher. And I wasn't looked at like that. And that's fine. I'm not upset about it. It's just the way it was. But I know that if I was been given a chance in these 25 years, I would have done a good job, because I understand it. But this is a very difficult job to get into. And so I chose the other route. But you have to be ramped up, man. You have to be engaged. And that's the disappointing part for me right now with this team, is I don't think guys are engaged at the highest level that they should be. And they need to look in the mirror and decide who those people are, and if they're one of those people. And that's the disappointing part right now. But again, I'm a holdout hope. They're a game and a half behind SAC. It looks like it can happen with KD going down. And then Brad Beal's not, in uniform. So it doesn't look good. But I've seen crazy things before, and I'm going to keep pulling for these guys to see if they can get it done.
I more power to you. I understand. I understand your perspective. Honestly, like, if I was the GM, every single one of you obviously is being evaluated, but not only that, like, listen, you should know, and I'd be surprised if, if whether James Jones stays or Bartlestein or anything stay or go, it's kind of irrelevant, because ultimately, Matt Ishbia is going to have a lot to say in the future of how this team is run. And one of the things that I certainly think that he's doing right now is just kind of taking note of what things, what decisions were made, how things went, how the process needs to be tweaked how the evaluations need to be tweaked. Like everything from top to bottom needs to be reevaluated in terms of how. And I think that here's the other thing about this is that, like, with Matt Ishbia specifically, like, I know a lot of fans give him a lot of crap because they feel like he ruined this franchise, right? But, like, I don't see it that way. I think he's a new owner. He wanted to try and boost the Suns up as much as possible, give them every advantage to win, which he did, and it was an epic disaster. Sometimes it's happened. We've seen it with other teams in other sports before, and you kind of learn and you kind of reassess how you're approaching things, and you need to realize, like, okay, I didn't have this right, and it's kind of surprising because if you think about the way Ishbia came up, especially at Michigan State with Izzo didn't necessarily always get the very best players in the country every single year, right? But his program was modeled to be able to develop players with that kind of grittiness and that Michigan State way, right? And I think that's the approach that Ishbia needs to take with whoever he's going to move forward with, is like, hey, whoever it is needs to build an identity within the franchise and really construct this locker room and this overall basketball field to feel more of like a championship level, championship caliber, franchise. And I think, again, this is off of like my perception, my body language, some of the things I've heard here and there behind the scenes. I think what's happened is players got comfortable, and that execution, that attention to detail, that high level of performance kind of deteriorated, and there was nobody to kind of reinforce what the actual Phoenix Suns motto and kind of program should be, right? And that's the thing that I think a lot of fans get frustrated by, is because we all care and we think, oh, well, the players should care. But too often this year, look like it's been, win or lose, doesn't really matter. We're just going to move on. I know the players care, but do they care enough to actually affect anything on the court? Right now, no. It's just flat out no. They're getting beat left and right. Last night was a joke. That's why the fans were booing, because they were just so tired of just the apathetic nature by which the Phoenix Suns play basketball, and that's where they're at right now.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
I would tell people if they want to blame Matt Ishbia, hold up. He's given everything that he can for you to go out and do your thing.
Agreed.
Matt Ishbia is not taking jumpers. He did. He played at Michigan State as a walk-on. He made the team. He understands basketball. Well, he loves basketball. I mean, guy got an indoor court and an outdoor court at his house. I'll say that again. He got an indoor court and an outdoor court. Who puts an indoor court and an outdoor court at their house if they don't love basketball, right? And love to play. And when I say court, top-notch court. Like, you pay to get in. That's how impressive it is, all right? He loves the game, man. He loves the game of basketball. That's his heart. So he has done everything. Now it's up to the players. Like, people want to jump to him. The chemistry, you brought him over here. Hold up. When you're looked at as a top-level basketball player, the reason they tell you you're top level is because you can be a chameleon. So people want to say, well, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Devin didn't work. Well, you're going to blame the owner? You're going to blame the owner for that? No. Matter of fact, they're all three making 40, 50 million a year. They're all accomplished basketball players. It's like somebody go hire 3 CEOs, okay? Say 3 CEOs walked into your house and said, you know what? We're going to band together and we're going to start a company. If that company does not take off, it's because they did not blend well together. Because they are looked upon as up here. And that's why I'll look at those 3. They have to get in the room, because quite honestly, they all 3 can be back next year based on the restrictions of what we have. They got to get in a room this summer. And they got to say, you know what? That was embarrassing last year. And we got to spend time together. And we got to figure this out. Us three, that's it. Them three. Go on a vacation and figure it out. And then when they come back, those other 12 guys that's around them, they are basically coaching them and telling them exactly what they expect from them. That's what a CEO does. You give them the company, everybody below has to do what he is trying to tell, because he's the coach. You have the main coach, but you got those three. Every team I've been on has been like that. When I was on the Suns years ago, okay, when Kevin Johnson, Tom Chambers, and I, okay, we had to come to an agreement that whoever was hot, that's where we're going to ride. We're going to ride with him. We're going to make sure that everything is flowing, and we'll flow, and we'll move, and we'll adjust. And that's how it was. All three of us averaged over 20 a game. We won 55-plus games. We got to back-to-back Western Conference Finals. Okay, we didn't get to the finals, but we were a dominant team. And all those guys around us, we had them trained. No disrespect. Jeff Hornacek then, Dan Marley as a rookie. Like, they all knew their roles, and they all played their roles. And we won. And we loved each other, and we got along. That's the key for these three, man. And they all three have to look in the mirror, and they got to say, what did us three do wrong? Not what Royce O'Neal did, not what Grayson Allen did, not what, Nurkic did when he was here. He caught flack. No. What did us three do wrong to where we could not galvanize everybody to win consistently? Does it fall on the owner? He put them there to do their job. And then Mike Budenholzer, coaching staff, they got to do the same thing. Don't start blaming the owner. He's spending the money. He went aggressive. He's trying to say, I want to win Phoenix. I don't want to rebuild. I don't want to have to go through it. I want to win. He did everything that most people cry about an owner that does not spend money. So we can't have it both ways, man. Can't have it both ways. Will he tweak it? Will he tweak it, Saul, and do something different? Probably will. He'll learn. He's learning too. But he came in not stingy. Some owners come in stingy. I don't have to bring them names up. Okay? Some come in stingy. He did not. He came in with an open pocketbook. It's up to those guys, man. Like, so stop trying to point the finger at the owner. Like, no, he's going to win eventually because he's going to figure it out. He's a young owner. He's got, he's printing money, so he's going to figure it out. He just bought the Twins with the White Sox. All right, so now he and his family own the White Sox. They're going to win. His whole goal is to win. So we need to make sure it's on our watch. That's all.
You have a lot of pushback in the chat right now.
That's fine because they don't get it.
So here, let me tell you a couple. First, this is funny. Killer X says, Eddie, how much is Ishbia paying you under the table for this? My gosh.
People always want to go to that. And what I will tell people is the reason why they say that is because they would take money under the table. Like anybody that says that to you, it means they're low down dirty and they'll take money under the table and be used as a puppet. Anybody that has followed me, calling Suns games, they know I'm not a freaking homer. They know I'm not a homer. Okay? And I will never be compromised to be paid off to say or do anything. It's not going to happen. I work my butt off. I go make my own damn money. Okay? Ain't nobody going to buy me off. Okay? I'm not going to compromise myself in how I think. But that's the go-to move for somebody that actually would take money. Because that mindset doesn't come into my mind. So Killer X, why don't you get up your butt, okay, off the couch, and why don't you go work and go make you some cash and stop sitting around waiting on mommy and daddy to give you a little money? That's what I would say.
David McCracken in the chat says, I don't agree with that take at all. You need to build a team through strengths and weaknesses. I understand the lack of effort is on the players, but front office needs to be held accountable as well. Listen,
What
I don't
strength
think
and
anybody,
weaknesses is he talking about? Like,
well, first of all, I don't
went
think
out.
anybody's saying that the front office shouldn't be held accountable for the moves that they made.
What strength and weaknesses are they talking about? They go out and they get 3 of the best scorers in the freaking NBA. And everybody before the season picked this team to fit, maybe get to the finals. All the prognosticators. So you couch potato water boy prognosticators, fine. You can have yours too. But my point is, before the season started, people were picking the Suns to maybe come out of the West. I'm talking about professional people. People that's been around the NBA forever. They were picking the Suns. My co-host on SiriusXM NBA Radio picked the Suns to go to the finals. So everybody thought it. When the Suns traded for Bradley Beal, people were like, "Oh, that's unfair. How can they go get somebody that good and they over the cap?" Remember that song?
Yeah.
They were all complaining. The league was complaining. The league was saying, "How can they go get him too?" Now they got a big 3. Everybody was complaining because they thought the Suns would be that good. Say what you want. When they got Nurkic, people were like, "That's a good deal. He can rebound. He'll take up space." All of that. People were excited. Right? Re-signed Royce O'Neal. Oh, yeah, we got the 3-and-D guy. And, he's going to be good. Grayson, he led the league in three-point shooting last year. All those things. We re-signed Bobo, fan favorite. Oh, he can really help us. Everybody was excited. So now what does it fall to when you have evaluated it and you say, okay, this is a very good team. So what does it fall to? The players. To go out and make it work. The coaches to go out and guide them to make it work. So what I'm saying to you is I'm not saying that Ishbia proud. He would admit maybe he's made a fall here or there. But the point is, you look at this team preseason, before the season, started out 8-1. Don't you dare tell me that you didn't think that we would have a crazy, unbelievable season. You did. So that's my point. You can't have it both ways. Nobody knew Cleveland would do what they're doing this year. They bombed out of the playoffs last year. Nobody knew Dallas would go to the finals last year. No one. Did somebody think Miami was going to get to the freaking finals 2 years ago and they was a 7th seed? No. It was the players that bonded together and they got it done. That's the point. So it's easy to go blame the owner. It's easy to go blame somebody else. It starts with the players, man. If you're talented enough, you should not be losing like that. Bottom line. So nobody's paying me off for that. Yeah, the Suns do pay me. I freaking work, Killer X. Yeah, I work. But I don't get extra for me talking up the Suns. No, I don't.
Why are you going back to Killer Rex? We moved on to different comments.
Take me out. Take me out. Let me drink some more of my juice here I got.
Oh, well, while Eddie sips on his juice, why don't we just cut to a break for a second, huh? You can get some juice over at Circle K because Circle K's got some fantastic beverages.
I need to send them my concoction.
There you go. You go over to Circle K, download the Inner Circle app. You can save yourself 25 cents off per gallon for the first 5 fills. And then on top of that, you can get hooked up with drinks such as these Polar Pops, Frosters. Listen, you get 79 cents drinks. If you use the Inner Circle app, you get them for 69 cents. Nice. And you get 5 free ones once you sign up for the Inner Circle. So, I mean, hey, listen, all the snacks, all the gas. It's America's thirst stop. You can't go wrong by downloading the Inner Circle app. And if you join the Inner Circle for free, you can do so by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. And then on top of that, listen, EJ's wearing the lid. You've seen him wearing the lid a lot. I have one back here. Well, it was right here. Brandon Bills is the best place to get your merch, and you should do so by going to brandonbills.com. They have selections for every single state team and there's so many different styles. It's really, really cool. EJ's rocking the PHNX hat, which you can find at our gophnx.com/merch site, but brandedbills.com is the place you want to go to get the very best and the very latest in terms of brands for your team. The look, the feel, the material, it's breathable. I believe EJ, this is the one of multiple hats you have. Do you golf with this hat?
Yeah, I wear my hat all the time. I wear all my hats.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it looks and it feels good. It feels comfortable, and it's just great. So go to brandedbills.com and you can save yourself up to 20% by using promo code PHNX on your first order. That's promo code PHNX to save yourself up to 20% at brandedbills.com today. And just a reminder, April is Masters, and it's coming up right around the corner, actually 2 weeks, and we will have our Green Jacket Open. You should come and check out the Green Jacket Open out at Dobson Ranch. Sign up for the foursome. We've got a few spots left for people, so it's going to be a great time. Winners are going to, or people that contribute are going to get a limited edition PHNX gift pack. It's just it's going to be a fun time out there. During the morning, we're going to be doing kind of a watch party and hanging out and watching the Masters on that Masters Saturday. And then we're going to go out at 2:00 in the afternoon and hit the course and just have a good old time and just hang out, man. So bring the boys, bring the girls, bring whoever. Sign up with a foursome today at gophnx.com/events. And yeah, come join us. And, listen, if you want, you can play right next to my foursome. EJ, unfortunately, is not going to be available. He's got something where he has to go out to Oregon and play in like some fancy course, and like it's just whatever, like he's just totally big timing us. But hey, I digress. Second year in a row that EJ is not playing in this tournament, and it's really disappointing. It's sad because I enjoy playing with EJ, but he doesn't want to play anymore. So it is what it is.
Well, it's either abandon dunes or look at your face.
I mean, the option is clear. Listen, EJ, to just kind of finish up the Suns talking point, I hear what you're saying about about how Ishbia has done everything he can for the team, and I agree. I wouldn't say I'm delusional and thinking like, listen, I'd rather have an owner that's going to do whatever it takes to win. Yeah, sure. Did he make a catastrophic mistake maybe by just throwing all the assets that we had out the window on day one? Maybe, but you got Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's for the most part, he's played his part. He's done his role. I don't see how you can look at Kevin Durant and think otherwise. But the team as a whole has not lived up to expectations. And one of the comments, actually, EJ, when you're talking about the big three and you're talking about you, KJ, and Tom Chambers, is listen, you, KJ, and Tom Chambers didn't take up damn near 100% of the salary. So it was a little bit of a different ball game when it comes to that. Whereas these three players literally take up almost the entire salary and cause the Suns to be in that second apron because of just the massive contracts that they have. But that's not on them. That's on ownership and the executives that bring these players in and give them those contracts. That's just what it is. So, and that kind of leads into this next point. Last week we got into a topic about NIL, and now 1,400 players have hit the portal. And we're going to transition into a topic that's just about, fair and equity, practices in sports. And, EJ, you last week, you talked about how if coaches can up and leave after 1 year, then why couldn't players? And I said, yes, I typically.
Am I frozen? Am I frozen?
You are frozen. But that's okay. We can still hear you. And typically I would agree. However, one of the things that you don't see very often, you don't see coaches going to 4 different programs in 4 different years, right? We don't even see coaches. Basically, it's probably like in a 4-year period, you're probably a coach might move once, right? It's very, very rare that a coach would move 3 or 4 times within a 4 or 5 year period. That's just almost unheard of because you can't establish anything if you're a coach. So that's where I would disagree on that. And you sent me a post about the Maryland coach taking off to go to Villanova. And if you listen, again, this is the thing. If you listen, that coach had very real concerns about how Maryland was approaching everything and really the lack of resources that they had to really be able to attract talent that they needed to, whether that be NIL or even the facilities themselves. So I don't dismiss a coach for saying, well, this school is going to, like, listen, I know on the record that Villanova was paying a substantial amount of money every year for a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they wanted to get in that, and they have all the resources, and they're also a program that doesn't have to deal with football. So all that revenue gets to go straight into basketball. Whereas Maryland, some of that revenue is going to have to go to football and stuff like that. So in the NIL era, I just don't agree that coaches, like players, can do what they're doing right now when coaches can do the same thing. Because in reality, you're talking about 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old coaches that are, and some of them are in the 30s, that have at least had some life experience. They've been in the game. They have families, so they don't take the just flippant nature of just moving from school to school lightly, right? If they get a bigger contract, yeah, sure. But like Kirk Kriisa, for crying out loud, is now going to be on his fourth school in 4 years. After finishing at Arizona, he went to West Virginia, then he went to Kentucky, and now he's in the portal again. And I'm just like, what is the point of this? At some point, and listen, you're talking about three legitimately good programs: Arizona, West Virginia, and Kentucky. Like, and certainly two of those three are really good national programs. Like, why? What are we looking for here outside of just a bag? And if it's just a bag, then I guess it is. But man, that's just really tough to hear and watch every single time.
I agree.
One-time transfer, cool. Two-time transfer, maybe I can even understand. But four? Oh, come on now. This is ridiculous.
No, I agree. But I'm saying I'll get to the players, but the coaches are the ones that started this stuff. And until they correct their errors, their erroneous ways that they have chasing the dollar, then the players will have a little bit more commitment. You got these coaches, man, and people will say, well, some guy tweeted me, they said they're salaried employees. I said, what the heck do you think student athletes are now? You know how much money universities make off of them? Like, they're both salaried employees. That kid could have gone to any school he wanted to go to. He can just go to a freaking junior college. He can go to a small Division II school to get his academics, to get his degree. But no, he goes to a school because that school wants to make money. Okay? And how are they going to make money? They got to get 4- and 5-star athletes to come to their school. Then TV money comes in, and their pockets get full off of that student athlete. So it's both ways. Coaches can be changed out a lot easier than the player. Okay? Now, in college, it gets a little bit close to even because the coach is very popular at the university and people will go to the games to see the coach, which is unusual, right? So I get it. But these coaches, man, they started it. They start hopping to school, lily pad jumping, using the school for their next lily pad jump, and that's what they do. Okay, Merlin had a very good year. He just left. Those kids he talked to come there, went to their homes, convinced their parents to send their kid to him because he's the right guy for them. He leaves. He's going to start the same thing over again at Villanova. Now, fine. Villanova could be the school that he all the time wanted to get to. I get it. It's a championship university. I get it. But still, they just leave, man. And so now they want to give these kids death threats and stuff like that because they're getting paid. And if they don't perform well and they're mad that they're jumping around, they gave these kids, and I'm telling you, kids have quit in them. Like, I don't know about you, Saul. When you're young, it's easy to quit. You can quit just like this, right? Because you don't realize the value or the negative step that you're taking when you're young. You just want to quit. I quit. I can't win. I quit, right? And then you mature, and you know you can't do it. But you're being matured based on what? Somebody around you saying, no. But what do we have for these kids now? Yes. You see it all the time. AAU is ridiculous. Parents need to be educated and taught. They are yesing. Yes, it's your fault. It's the official's fault. It's the coach's fault. It's never your son's fault. Never your daughter's fault. It's the son's fault. And so they take that mentality to college, and as soon as that coach gets on them, as soon as that coach does not play them late in the game, right? Like what? Who like Calipari? No, St. John's. Patino did his top player. He quit. He quit. And it wasn't just him quitting, it was the parents too. You don't need to stay there. He's just not going to play you at the end of a game, and you've been the star all year. How dare him? Because he stunk. So put somebody in there that can save him. That's what Patino did. That's what any good coach would do.
Yeah.
They couldn't take it. So they leave. So the coaches started this. So I don't want to hear any crying when players are doing this now. They're out of control. Without a doubt they are. But it's on the coaches because they have shown the ability to quit in front of these kids, and these kids believe it's okay that they quit. So I don't want to hear.
I mean, I guess I see where you're going, but I think even in the coaching circles there are ramifications, and there's also legalities that are more present for coaches than there are for players, right? And I think that's the thing.
Players like that. I have no issue with that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like that's where I was about to go with this. Is like there does need to be modifications from like, and I'm sitting here asking for a prayer because the NCAA doesn't do anything ever. But
they make so much money, they're slow to do anything.
It's true. But we saw it this year, like the effect across the board from a very negative perspective. Listen, a lot of players got a lot of hate this year because of gambling and people not being able to check their own selves, right? And I think that the NCAA could do a lot to prevent a lot of this stuff from happening in the first place. And like, listen, there's nothing wrong with wanting to transfer after 1 year, but I do think that back in the day when a player transferred, he had to sit out a year, so it wasn't so easy to just up and leave, right? I think a player should have a one-time transfer kind of opportunity where, if he goes 1 year, 2 years of the school and he just wants to bounce, whatever, he can leave. No penalty whatsoever. But then if he chooses to leave that school after that, then he has to sit out a year. And I think if you have that kind of progression, then it will prevent players from just willy-nilly every single year, I'm looking for my next opportunity or my next bag to be able to up and leave. I also think contracts should be a real thing. And I do know that there are some entities that do these contracts before they get in bed with the player. They'll get some guarantees that are kind of written. So if the player transfers, he knows he's not getting X amount of dollars or he has to pay some back. Like, I think that is how it should be, because that's the same thing with coaches. A lot of coaches have a buyout. If they try to take another opportunity, they have to pay the school back X amount of dollars in order to take that next opportunity. And typically in that next contract, that is accounted for to kind of help them kind of
it just carries over
their back end.
Yeah, it lets the other school off the hook.
Exactly, but the players,
he leaves, that school owes him $2 million. He leaves, and he gets a job for $3 million. Then basically, he's only making an extra $1 million at that school.
Yeah,
that school's got to pay the $3 million. Yeah, so I mean, that should be the case. I have no issue with that at all. I think players saw once they commit to a school, it should be a contract. You got to stay there 3 years. So make the right decision, player. Make the right decision. Now, he can leave if the coach leaves.
Yes.
If the coach leaves, he can leave. But if the coach does not leave, he's got to stay there 3 years. And then after 3 years, he doesn't like it, okay, he's a free agent. Get a 3-year deal there, the NIL deal, how it goes. Now, after 3 years, they got to negotiate to keep him for the 4th. If he decides to leave, that's on him. Like most kids, 5-star kids, they're gone after 1, 2 anyway. So it doesn't even matter. Okay? So it doesn't even matter. And the kid that stays there 4 years, he's probably going to stay there his 4th year because he knows that he doesn't want to have to go prove himself somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how it should be. I've been saying it till I'm blue in the face. I've tweeted it out. It's so simple. Make them do a 3-year deal. They have to stay there 3 years. He can leave in his 4th year. If the coach leaves, then he can leave if he wants to. That's it. That's it. and probably make it to where the player can't follow that coach. The NCAA should come up with a rule like, hey, you had him here, so he doesn't need to follow your ass over there. Okay? So you can't talk him to going where you go. So put it in their contract. If the coach leaves, you cannot leave this school and go to that school. That's it. And it will restrict these kids, man. It will restrict these coaches. It'll be a better system. It'll be a great transition for these guys from college to pro. They'll bring fans with them, not skipping all over the place. They got to get it done. Look, hire me. Killer X, I'm looking for another job. NCAA, bring me in there. I guarantee you, I'll go in that boardroom and we'll get it right. We'll get it right. Because, I mean, that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
It's what you need to do, man, to control this whole crazy thing that's going on right now. It's just a bunch of selfishness, man, and a bunch of quitters. I just can't stand a quitter. I didn't quit. I went to Illinois, so I'm telling you, man, Lou Henson didn't play me my first year. I was an All-American, parade All-American, the number one player to come out of the state of Illinois. Let's think about that. In 1977, I was the number one player out of Chicago and the entire state of Illinois. At that time, the hotbed of basketball. And I went to the in-state school. I went to Illinois. I could have gone to any freaking school I wanted to go to. All of them was salivating at my door. Seriously, I had scouts hanging out in my door. I look outside. They out there in the car, begging. I once walked past a scout. I'm not going to even say the school. He literally looked like he was in tears. He could have been acting. He probably went to a damn acting class. Eddie, we need you, man. I mean, my whole career is based on this. We need you. I'm like, you know, man, I had to sneak to school, man. I kid you not. That's how rabid it is. I had coaches like camped out at my school. Hey, you want to ride home? Hey, you want to ride home? Like, it was crazy. I decided to go to Illinois. And he did, and Lou Henson looked at me. He said, Eddie, I thought you was tough. You know, you can shoot, but it's hard to shoot when you laying on your back. True story, man. Jeez. Man, I went home, man. I started pumping that iron. I stayed down in Illinois in the summer. I went from 185 to 220.
Damn.
I walked back. I'm not a true story, dude. I walked back up in there, man. This Coach Kroll was his name. He said, Eddie, I'm going to get you right. You dedicate yourself to me, I will get you right. And, man, I came back up in there, man, and we had some tough guys on that team. Neil Bresnahan, good friend of mine, Levi Cobb, Ken Ferdinand. They were all getting minutes in front of me. Man, I went up in there, man. I beat them like they had just stole my money. And Lou Henson looked at me. He said, Eddie, I thought you was soft. I ain't gonna tell you the real word he said. And starts with a P. And he said, you know what? You will never come out of a game the rest of your career unless you raise your hand and tell me you're tired. And he was true to his word.
There you go.
And see, so I didn't quit. And I made the NBA and I lasted 17 years. If it wasn't for that education that he put me through, I don't know if I would even made the NBA.
Yeah. Because
I didn't quit, man. I didn't go to DePaul. They were trying to get me to go back up there. Mark Aguirre was on that team. Mark was supposed to come to Illinois. Him and Skip Dillard. That DePaul team was back in the day that was real good. They were all supposed to follow me to Illinois. They didn't come to Illinois because of what Lou Henson did to me in regards to not playing me. Mm-hmm. And so that's how it works, man. So stop quitting, young people. Stay the course, man. Fight it out. You know, be tough. I haven't quit this show because, you know, it's hard dealing with Saul, but I didn't quit yet.
Oh boy. Well, listen, it's just so much to get into there. You know, it's funny because, you know, your boy Mike Woodson, you know, obviously after he got fired from Indiana, there's not a single player on the roster right now for Indiana because they've either graduated or they transferred out. Like I didn't
know that. They all left.
Devin DeVries is got 0 players on his active roster as we speak right now, which is just crazy. And that's going to be
Did
the
the
way.
kids say why they?
No, they didn't say why they left.
It's obvious why they left.
I'm sure
Mike Woodson was a hell of a coach.
Yeah,
And the University of Indiana fan base, and not all of them, not probably the people that actually paid a ticket to show up. They supported him.
Yeah, they're
but
insane.
It's them ones that don't want to buy a damn ticket, but they want to stay in their basement and complain because they just lost some money on a freaking app.
Every fan base has your kind of outliers, your crazies. Hell, Suns not excluded from that. ASU, U of A, GC, like everybody has those outliers of people that just they kind of go way overboard for whatever reason. But I just thought we'd bring that up and kind of wrap a bow on that topic before we end the show. So, but folks, we do appreciate you all for joining us on another episode of Outside Shots. But I do want to make sure I bring this up. EJ's book is now live and it's on Amazon. You can get it right now today. EJ, do you have anything that you would? I think we have the graphic from last week. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. EJ, any thoughts? You want to elaborate on that?
Everybody in their life, I would just say this, and I took my glasses off because it's not like I've been sincere the whole show, but I'm really sincere about this. People in your life, they always think that you can't do certain things. And this is for all the people that's watching. And I'll say it to anybody. I grew up in the inner city of Chicago, and people thought that I would be a lost cause, to be quite honest with you. My name was Piggy in the neighborhood. I was looked at as a statistic. A lot of my friends got killed, jail, drugs, whatever, right? Well, I got through that, man. Like, I didn't do any of that at all. And somehow, some way, I navigated through the minutia of just getting caught going to school and getting robbed at gunpoint, getting shot at. All those things happened to me. And for me, my journey has been unreal. And along my journey, people have always doubted me. They've always questioned, like, what can you do? What you can't do, right? And I continually try to push myself to prove to people that I can do whatever I want to do. And to me, this is my biggest accomplishment past anything, because I knew I'd be a basketball player. I'm 6'8". Oh, you should play ball. It's just normal. Yeah, okay. All right. Then they say, oh, what about your academics? I got my degree in history. I went and got a securities license. I've done everything that I've wanted to do. And you know what? The most important thing years ago, I wrote a book, a self-help book, which was one person book, which is easy to write. And you're just talking about one thing that you know. And that was a simple book for me. It's done very well. It's still selling right now. I did an hour and a half videotape of basically a DVD at the time. I know we don't see those anymore, but it was basically a jump shot video that still sells, okay, on Amazon, constantly. I don't do anything. I don't market it. I don't do anything. But the biggest accomplishment is when people question me. When I did write that book, they said, did you write it? Did you do it? Did you do it? Was that your idea?
Real quick, for those of you streaming on our streaming platforms, make sure you go to gophnx.com to catch the rest of this overtime issue. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I said, you know what? Okay. You want to question that? All right. So I set out, and I had a dream one night. I truly did. I dreamed this story up. I don't know why I did it, but I did. And I said, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a novel. And novel's hard because there's multiple people, multiple situations. Man, it's no joke. I applaud writers and how they're able to do that and be running books off like they do. It is amazing. And I got to a point, Saul, where I felt like I needed help. Truly needed help. And a good friend of mine I play golf with, Gary Ponzo, who's an espionage writer. He sold over 100,000 books. I told him, I gave him my notes. There's just stacks of stuff that I had written and how I wanted to do it and all of that. And I sat down and I talked to him. And we spent so much time together over the last 2 years. And you know what? I told him my story. You know, he would write, I would critique, I would add. I mean, just it was a great combination there. He's a very good friend. And guess what? It's turned into a tremendous book. Okay, it's called The Sun's Revenge, and the first week has been unreal. I mean, I stopped counting how many books that we've sold, how many downloads that we've had at Kindle. And I'm getting all these great reviews and people are loving the book. So I encourage people to go out and check it out. The Sun's Revenge. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle. And you run into me, I'll sign it for you. But to me, man, it was one of my greatest accomplishments. It's a great book. It's a great story. It's a thriller. And, you know, so hopefully it can turn into a little mini series. That's my goal, man. That's my goal. I dream high, dude. And that's gonna be the first of many books to come. I'm not done. My retirement will be filled with me writing books. That's just how I look at it. And so yeah, I encourage people to go out and check it out. It's a thriller. You're gonna love Calvin, and it's based on ASU campus, even though Saul wouldn't like it. It's ASU. You know. Background. I could have said Arizona, but you know, Saul didn't pay me, so I told him not. He didn't pay me for it.
The Sun's Revenge, a thriller by Eddie Johnson with Gary Ponzo. Hey, listen, it's a fantastic read. You should go get it at Amazon. Make sure you pick it up today. And listen, make sure you follow him, EJ, on NBA Today, the NBA Today show on Sirius Satellite XM Radio. From 1 to 4 today, local. So should be fun. And listen, congrats on that. It's pretty cool to always see people achieve things that they set out to achieve. And
you could be Calvin. You could be Calvin. You know?
Writing a book. I don't know what that means yet, but I'm about to find out.
No, you can't be Calvin. You can't be Calvin.
Okay.
Your mom was around, but
yeah. That's another episode of Outside Shots. For my man Eddie Johnson, you can follow him at JumpShot8 on Twitter and on Instagram. And you can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. Follow them for the pregame show, postgame show tomorrow when the Suns take on the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee. And folks, let's just hope for the best. You know, hey, keep your sanity, keep your health.
Hey, the Kings are going to go 2-5. So if the Suns can win a few games and they get the Kings the last game of the season, how fun would that be?
Dreaming is free. Until next time, folks, we love y'all. Peace.